4 years ago, no one on YouTube was putting out better training information than Mike Israetel. Once I realized that, I bought one of his training plans, the Male Physique Template. They've taken it off the site since, but it followed the same method used in the RP training app, just without the automation. I had to decide for myself when to deload and which exercises to use. I stuck to his training recommendations for exercise selection and performed them the way he taught. He defines failure as the point where your form breaks down or you can't complete another rep with full range of motion, also known as technical failure, which makes tracking more consistent and encourages proper technique. However, I don't think this kind of strictness works for every exercise. Take this set of lateral raises for example. By Mike Israetel's standards, this would count as failure. I couldn't do another strict rep through a full range of motion. But as you can see, I can still get several more reps past this point. I hit failure in a certain position, but there's still plenty left in the lengthened ranges. I used to stop here, or even 1 to 2 reps before this point, but I barely felt the muscle working and I didn't grow much either. Now I either allow a little bit of a cheat to even out the strength curve to make the top easier, or do a couple of reps beyond failure. A mesocycle is a training block that lasts anywhere from a few weeks to a few months. In Mike's method, you start with moderate to low volume and intensity at the start of your mesocycle. Then gradually ramp both up week by week. It all builds to a final week of chaos, high volume, everything taking to failure or beyond. The program added sets based on how you felt and laid out exactly when to increase intensity. And combining that with pushing closer to failure each week was too much of a shock for my body. My mesocycles were only lasting around 4 weeks on average. I wasn't underperforming till the last week, but the weekly jumps in the stimulus were so big that my body couldn't keep up, and I didn't realize how slow my actual progress was, because on paper it looked great. Each week I was getting closer to failure, so my numbers kept going up, and since I was changing exercises every 4 mesocycles, it always looked like I was making gains. But in reality, it wasn't real progress. Now, I'm doing almost double the volume I was doing in the final weeks of Mike's program, but I'm actually growing from it. Why? Because I spent 4 whole months building up to this point, slowly adding volume at the same RIR, using the same exercises, slowly adapting. So what were the results of following Mike Israetel's training method for a whole year? Pretty mediocre. And in contrast, here's what the next 6 months looked like after I stopped following his method. So do I think it's dumb? Not at all. Honestly, about 80% of how I train today is still based on Mike's teachings. He's been posting some questionable stuff lately, but he's a smart guy and I definitely recommend checking out the RP channel, especially the content they posted over 2 years ago. But creating a near-flawless system that you can follow blindly in something as complex as hypertrophy training is incredibly difficult and maybe even impossible. Because small flaws in a system like this can end up breaking the whole thing, and that's why I wouldn't recommend it.